Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Teresa, this is Lost My Thread. Today's video is pretty much all about my love for jumpsuits, and I will be asking your help to pick some fabric for a jumpsuit I'm making for an upcoming sewing challenge. A couple of months ago, I was contacted by V of 85th and Wade over here on YouTube and on Instagram to ask if I wanted to support a sewing challenge that she's organizing for this month. If you're not familiar with V's channel, do check her out. She's a relatively new channel. She makes lots of beautiful clothes using incredible vibrant prints, beautiful fabrics. But honestly, my favorite thing about V is her personality. She is one of these people, when you watch her videos, you just feel like you're hanging out with a friend. Her sense of humor very much comes through, and she shares the same love that I do for jumpsuits. So this challenge that she's planning is all about jumpsuits. The rules of the challenge are super simple. I'll put them up on the screen, but they'll also be in the description box down below. Basically, you just need to sew up a jumpsuit. So you need to sew a new jumpsuit or playsuit, romper, even overalls, and you need to post a picture of them on Instagram and tag V, who is 85th and Wade, and use the hashtag SewRompJumpPlay22 to be entered into the challenge. The idea is that we all share our jumpsuits or overalls on the same day, 26th of October, which happens to be National Jumpsuit Day and also National Overalls Day, which who knew that was a thing, but that's definitely something that I very much want to celebrate. And what better way to celebrate than to sew up a new jumpsuit for the occasion? V has also said if you do want to share a little sneaky peek of what you're sewing, to use the hashtag SewRompJumpPlayPeek. Now, because I am such a big fan of jumpsuits, it does not take very much to give me another reason to make one, and I think this is a perfect reason for me to make one. But I also think it's a really good opportunity if you've never made a jumpsuit. This is the perfect time to make one. I feel like jumpsuits are something that you don't really know what it's going to be like to wear one until you actually wear one. And I was pleasantly surprised after I made my first jumpsuit to find that I actually really enjoy wearing it way more than I thought I did, and I've become such a jumpsuit convert. So I do want to just talk a little bit about why I like wearing jumpsuits, and I also thought it would be good to run through a little bit about the jumpsuits that I've made before and what I like and don't like about them. And then I'll be telling you which jumpsuit that I'm planning to make at the end and ask for your opinions on which fabric I should use. I feel like I was a little late to the jumpsuit party, honestly, and I feel like that's just because I wasn't really sure that it was something that I was going to enjoy wearing, if I was going to like the style and the shape on my body. But in May of 2019, there were a couple of Instagram hashtag challenges out there, funnily enough, that pushed me to go ahead and try it. So one was the Sew Together for Summer challenge, which was encouraging people to specifically make a jumpsuit. The other one was Sew Brave Socialist challenge, where the idea was to try and make something that is maybe a little bit intimidating to you, something that you might feel a bit unsure about or a little bit nervous about. And trying a completely new style of garment very much hit that criteria for me. But I kind of felt like the Instagram world is calling to me and telling me that I need to just go ahead, take the plunge. What's the worst that could happen? There's always more fabric, right guys? And so I made my first jumpsuit in May of 2019, and I tell you, I have not looked back. Turns out I absolutely love how I feel in a jumpsuit, how I look in a jumpsuit. I feel like there's a really casual coolness to a jumpsuit. I feel really confident in jumpsuits, and I very much have enjoyed making them ever since. I feel like there's one thing that needs to be addressed as far as wearing jumpsuits that I know is the first thing that most people say to me about wearing a jumpsuit is, what happens when you need to go to the bathroom? And I swear that is what made me resist and think, oh, I don't want to have a whole faff every time I have to go to the bathroom. So yes, obviously when you're wearing a one-piece outfit, you do need to take the whole thing off to be able to go to the bathroom. And I had this idea that somehow the bodice part of my jumpsuit was going to be flapping around on the ground, collecting dirt from the floor in a public bathroom. Like, I just don't even want to go there. But the more I was used to wearing jumpsuits, the more I realized that it's really not very different from then just pulling down a pair of pants or trousers when you go to the bathroom. you have to somehow keep those up. You're not going to just drop them to the floor. So either you're going to be holding onto them with your hands, and same with the jumpsuit. I just often like fold or roll up or even just hang on to the bodice section along with the pants that I'm then pulling down and holding on to. Even if you're going to be pulling your knees out to kind of hold everything on your legs, you can just roll the jumpsuit and tuck it into the pants and it's not going anywhere. I do feel like some people might not be comfortable getting that undressed in the bathroom, but personally, I don't really care. There are doors on bathrooms, whether I'm at home or somebody else's house. There are stalls in public bathrooms, so I don't really feel uncomfortable taking that bit off behind a closed door. And I have never had any mishaps with the bodice of my jumpsuit swinging and going anywhere in the bathroom that I didn't want it to. I do think the style of jumpsuit will make a big difference on how much of a faff it is to get on and off. So I am someone who cannot very easily reach around my back to do a invisible zip in the back. So there's just no way I'm going to make a jumpsuit that opens and closes that way, because I need to be able to go to the bathroom on my own. But the ones that I've chosen, the ones that I'll tell you about, they are all ones that I can easily get in and out of, so I don't think you need to worry about that. I will give you some brief details about the jumpsuits that I've made and put up some pictures, but I will also put some links down below to videos where I talk about them in more detail if you want to see a little bit more about them. The first jumpsuit I made was the Zadie Jumpsuit, and that was one that was made by Closet Core Patterns. The reason I picked this one is because it came with both a jumpsuit but also a dress view, a maxi dress. So I felt like if it turns out that I'm really not into the jumpsuit, I haven't completely thrown my money away on a pattern and I still have a maxi dress that I would wear. I also like this one had a couple of options. So there's an option with a drop sleeve, so like a short sleeve, and that has a little tie that goes at the back in a very deep V at the front and at the back. I really liked that overall look of that. There's also an option to do shoulder ties, which doesn't appeal to me quite so much just because I wouldn't necessarily want to wear a strapless bra and I don't want that much of my bra showing when I'm doing little shoulder ties. But the drop sleeve version really appealed to me, and I have made that jumpsuit in a viscose jersey fabric that I absolutely love. It's navy blue. I feel like this one is very elevated, very elegant. I feel amazing in it. There's an elastic channel at the waist to give you a little bit of cinching in there. Big, full, wide leg, very much gives it a bit of a 70s vibe to me, which I am really a fan of. So this one is super comfortable because it's jersey, very easy to get in and out of. The only thing I will say as someone who has long hair, tying and untying a knot at the back of your neck every single time you want to take it on and off is not the most comfortable, easy thing in the world to do. That is the only downside of this jumpsuit. But like I said, I've also made the maxi dress, which I absolutely love, and I very much plan to make more of this jumpsuit. The other knit jumpsuit that I have made and loved is the Sirocco jumpsuit by Deer & Doe. I made my first Sirocco jumpsuit as part of a collaboration with Sarah of Naughty Gnome Crafts and Emma of Sew Do It Emma. All three of us wanted to make the same jumpsuit because we all have very different body types and different styles, and we thought it would be really cool to see how you can get such a different look from the same pattern. And I feel like this is such a perfect example of how I feel like jumpsuits can suit any body type. So I'll put some pictures up so you can see each of our versions, but honestly, I feel like they all turned out great and we all look amazing. The one that I made was in a Ponte knit, so it's a polyester Ponte knit fabric with some really incredible vibrant colors. I love this jumpsuit. It's super comfortable. I always get a ton of compliments on it. It's really nice and fitted at the waist. There's some darts and some pleats to give you a bit of shaping at the front and the back. And like I said, it is just ridiculously comfortable because it's made in a knit fabric. I love that one so much that I decided to make another one, which is what I'm wearing now. This is actually a romper version, so a shorts version of it, and I made it in a black bamboo jersey. Really love this one. It's super playful, was really comfortable to wear in the summer. I was very much into wearing this on a hot day, and I know that when the hot weather comes again next year, I'm going to be ready in this jumpsuit. Another jumpsuit that is super easy to take on and take off is the Zadie Jumpsuit by Paper Theory. I feel like this is probably the most popular indie jumpsuit pattern, and it is very easy to see why. I absolutely love this jumpsuit. The first version I made was in a viscose linen blend that I got from Sew Me Sunshine in this really beautiful aqua toned fabric. It was really nice and slubby, had great texture to it. I will say that this one took some work to get the fit how I liked it. I initially went with the recommended size and it was ginormous. It was gaping at the neckline, but it was just massive all around under the arms, around the waist. It was just way too big. So I did take quite a lot in on the side seams, tried to adjust it how I could, but for my second version, I decided to actually size down 2 sizes, which worked much better for me. In May of last year, I did look at what I wasn't wearing recently and decided I wanted to make a little bit of a change on that first Zadie jumpsuit, mainly because I felt like the look of it and the color of it, it was just vaguely reminiscent of scrubs, hospital scrubs, which I do wear at work sometimes, and I felt like that was putting me off wearing it. So I did a little bit of an ice dye experiment, and it was really fun to experiment. It turned out super cool, really looks nothing like scrubs now, really vibrant, really punchy, really fun. But my second version of the Zadie is probably, well, it's easily my favorite of the two, and it is up there as one of my favorite jumpsuits that I've ever made. I made my second one in a Lady McElroy viscose lawn fabric that I got from the Fabric Godmother in the most incredible, gorgeous fabric. I really do love the way this looks. The vibrant, bright, bold floral print is just absolutely stunning on that black background. I feel like this one, the fit as well, is spot on. So not only did I size down 2 sizes, I did also just alter the curve of the wrap section. So this jumpsuit is a full wrap jumpsuit. It wraps entirely around you, including down to the crotch area, which again makes it super easy to just unwrap, take it off, go to the bathroom, put it back on, tie it up, and you're good to go. The wrap crossover section though, like I said, on my first version gaped a bit and I had to add a snap so that it wasn't too revealing. So I decided on my second version to adapt it a little bit. I decided the best option for me was to go with a wrap style that I knew worked well over my bust. And for me, that is the peppermint wrap top in Peppermint Magazine, designed by In the Folds. It's a free pattern, so you can download it and have a go at it yourself if you want to try it. But also, I do just really like the curve of the way that wrap section works. And I feel like that angle just works better on my body and isn't too revealing. Another really easy way to get in and out of a jumpsuit is to have some closures down the front. So I have made the Jennifer Lauren Handmade Farris Jumpsuit, which has got buttons down the front just for the bodice section, and it is quite loose at the waist, so there's a channel where you can tie it up, but then it otherwise opens up to make it really easy to then pull it down and pull it up over your hips. There's a big full wide leg on those, there's a drop sleeve, V-neck, which I feel like for me is a really good depth of V as well. One of the great things about Jennifer Lauren Handmade patterns is that they're made with different bust cup sizes, so for me it just makes it so much easier to get a good fit without having to make any adjustments, especially on woven garments that can be really tricky. I got one of the best compliments in this jumpsuit. I am a midwife and I was visiting a mother with her newborn baby at home in the middle of the pandemic. I was wearing a mask, I was wearing gloves, I was wearing plastic apron, not feeling my best, just doing my job, getting it done, wearing this jumpsuit. And the mom that I was visiting, her sister happened to stop by because she was dropping off something for her, saw me, asked who I was. When she heard I was the midwife, she said I was the most glamorous midwife ever, which I did not feel at that time. But I tell you, I was going to take that compliment, and it made me feel pretty awesome. Even with all of my horrible PPE, I was still apparently looking glamorous. I feel like the fabric in this one is a big part of what really makes this jumpsuit for me. I love this fabric. It's a viscose linen fabric that I got from So Me Sunshine in this beautiful pale blue color with these lovely pops of white and yellow on top. I usually would not wear this kind of yellow with my skin tone. My hair color wouldn't really suit me, but being able to wear it in little details on top of this blue fabric just is such a joy, and I really love wearing this one. Now, I actually made a couple of jumpsuits for the So Frugal 22 challenge, and both of them were free. The first one was the Zadie Jumpsuit by Ready to Sew, another Peppermint Magazine pattern. And from glancing at it, it looks very similar to the Farris Jumpsuit by Jennifer Lauren Handmade, but it is pretty different, and I will tell you why. So for one thing, the Farris Jumpsuit is a V-neck. This Zadie Jumpsuit is meant to be quite a high round neck, and that's not really a look that I feel like would look great on me or would feel very comfortable on me. I didn't really like that high round neck, so I decided to make it more of a V-neck, probably inspired by my Farris jumpsuit, I'm not gonna lie. But this one has the buttons down the top section in a very similar way. It's also got a very wide elastic channel, and I feel like that's a really important style element. I feel like it gives it almost like a kind of late 80s, early 90s kind of a feel. And this one is a really unusual construction. This pattern is made from 3 pattern pieces, one of them being the patch pockets, which kind of blew my mind, and I didn't really understand how it was going to work until I was putting it all together. But basically, you have one piece for the trouser leg, and it's one for each leg. So you cut 2 of the same piece that wraps around. There's no side seam on the leg of the trouser. But then it's like the same thing for the bodice. You have one piece that goes from the front round to the back. You sew it up along the sleeve and then down the side, and then you sew the 2 together, and that is your bodice. It was really wild, and one of the things that ended up happening was the back section ended up being cut on the bias just because of the shape of the pieces. And so I thought it would be really fun to use a striped fabric to see how that would work on the back. It turned out exactly as I had hoped. So this fabric is a viscose cotton linen fabric that I got from Vogue Fabrics in Evanston, Illinois when I was back home in Chicago last summer. Summer before? It was last summer. Lose track of the years, honestly, especially with the pandemic. But this fabric is in a really beautiful lilac-y color with a nice white stripe on it. I think it's really pretty fabric, and I feel like it worked so well with this jumpsuit. Because I had that stripe and the back was joined together with these pieces cut on the bias, I got this really cool V shape happening. It was the stripes were joining together on the back, and I was really happy with my pattern matching. I feel like it came together really well. So this was definitely a more unusual construction, but a very fun one, I would say, to play with. But it's definitely an interesting one. It's a free pattern, and I think worth a go if you like the look. The other jumpsuit that I made for the So Frugal challenge was one that I actually gave a free tutorial for. So I wanted to make a sheared bodice jumpsuit. I'm really into sheared bodice dresses, sheared skirts, and I thought, why not try a jumpsuit? Why couldn't that work as a jumpsuit? So I thought I would just have a go with it, and I put together a tutorial of how you can try it if you're interested in making it yourself. I wanted to make it completely free, so I also used the trouser portion. It was the cast wide leg culottes, a free pattern from thefabricstore.com. Again, I'll put links to these all in the description box. And I used that as my trouser portion. I made a bodice piece. Basically, I just made a rectangle or a tube of fabric that went from just under my arms down to my high hip, which was the length that I wanted the shirring to go. I added some straps to it, which I added a bit of elastic in the middle to get a bit of ruching, a little bit of bunching going up, a nice gather on that strap. I added some side seam pockets. I think they were in the original design, but I made them with French seams. This whole jumpsuit is made with French seams. Like I said, I've done a whole tutorial, so if you are interested in making this style of jumpsuit yourself, I will put a link to it. Please do check it out and follow along to see how I did it. But this is definitely the easiest jumpsuit to get on and off. I've never had an easier jumpsuit to just slide down, slide it back on, put the straps on, and I'm good to go. Because there's elastic in the straps as well, it makes it even easier to get those straps over my shoulders. I have all the coverage that I want. It is super comfortable. I feel like this one almost has a bit of a 1950s look to it. There's a bit of a bombshell vibe for whatever reason. It's great. I feel like I look amazing in it. I feel really comfortable in it, and I very much plan to make more of these. The last jumpsuit that I've made is the jumpsuit from the Great British Sewing Bee Sustainable Style book. This book was written by the ladies behind Selkie Patterns, and I love the style of this jumpsuit, and I really love the fabric that I chose for it. This fabric is a linen fabric that I got from Merchant & Mills. I love the design with the stripes and the irregularity of the stripes. The colors are just the best to me, and it's really comfortable, breathable, works when it's a little bit cooler, works when it's really hot. With the style of this jumpsuit, I feel like it's a really great balance of having more like workwear vibes, but also some feminine vibes. This is very much the boiler suit style jumpsuit, and I really wanted to have one of those in my wardrobe. It's got a really nice collar that turned out really crisp. There's some nice details with a sort of turned up cuff section on the sleeves. I decided to roll the bottom up to have permanent cuffs on there as well to tie that together. The buttons that I used on this were really beautiful buttons from Ethel and Joan, and I feel like they work really well together. This one, I will say, the one thing that bugged me was there were breast pockets, which are cute, but not very functional. There was no side seam pockets, which I didn't even realize until it was too late. So I did add some patch pockets onto the back, which I think was absolutely fine. The construction of this I feel like came together well, apart from where the bottom of the button placket is meant to match the crotch seam. So I kind of fudged it, made it work for me, but that was the big downside of this pattern, that I feel like there wasn't really clear instructions of what to do in that area. But essentially I just did what I did at the top of the button placket, did that at the bottom, and it worked. So if you ever get stuck, that's what I would recommend. But this was a really fun one to make because I was able to play around with the direction of the stripes. I feel like it worked really effectively. There's a waist tie on this one, which means that you can get a little bit of shaping, but when it's untied, again, it's really easy to get on and off. And now I need to tell you about the jumpsuit that I'm planning to make for this challenge. It is a jumpsuit that is new to me by a pattern designer that I've never used before. It is the Jump Up Suit by Alice & Co. Patterns. Alice & Co. I have heard about and I've been curious to try them, and I'm excited to try this pattern. This is another knit jumpsuit, so I'm expecting maximum comfort. It's a really nice fitted jumpsuit. So there are fisheye darts in the front and in the back, which is what give it the shape. It is just one continuous piece, so there's no waist seam, which can make it a little bit tricky for fitting, but they've given you some good tips about how you can adjust at the shoulders if you need to. So this is a sleeveless jumpsuit. There's a really cool square neckline with like a little cutout section at the front, which I think is a really cool look, really unique design. There's a deep V-neck at the back as well, so that's how you're able to get in and out of it easily. There's a big full wide leg. You know I'm a fan of a wide leg. I feel like the style of this jumpsuit is really cool, and I think it would very much suit me, suit my style. And I've picked out a few fabrics and I'm just not quite sure what I want to use, and I would love to get your opinion. Now they recommend a mid-weight jersey fabric, so it needs to have a good amount of stretch in both directions, and it needs to have some decent weight to it. So I had thought Ponte fabric, but I didn't see any Pontes that were just calling my name for this particular project. I have a couple of cotton jerseys that I feel like would work really well. The first one I got from Minerva, so I'll show you here. It's got this really cool geometric design. So it is black and white. The white almost from a distance I feel like looks like polka dots, but it's not. They are kind of like an irregular square shape. I like the geometric look, and I feel like it would suit the style of this jumpsuit. It's not that massively different from one of the ones in the pattern photo, so I feel like maybe that's why it made sense to me. I wouldn't have necessarily gone for a strong contrast in the color like that, and also black I feel like isn't a color that I usually reach for. But I love this Sirocco jumpsuit that I'm wearing in black, and I feel like it looks really good with my coloring, so I think the black and white would work well. The other cotton jersey that I was considering I got from Emma of So Do It Emma when she did a D-stash over on Instagram recently. It is a cotton jersey in this wonderful print. Very much my kind of thing, I feel like. I love the colors on it. I think they're really punchy, really bold and beautiful against that black background. I feel like being the black background means it could definitely work for autumn and winter, but it still has those gorgeous colors on it. Like I said, the colors, they are as vibrant as they seem. I feel like this would be really beautiful in whatever it is, but I'm just not sure if it suits the style of the jumpsuit. I would love to hear your opinion. The last fabric I'm considering, it's more about the substrate. I absolutely love the print, and I would very much make it if it was in a different substrate. I got this fabric from Diligent Hands Fabric, which is an Etsy shop, one of my favorites for getting African print fabrics. So this is an African print jersey fabric, which I didn't know existed, and I was very excited when I saw it because, like I said, print is just phenomenal. It is so gorgeous. It's this amazing, bright, vibrant teal color with the white and the navy floral print on top of it. I feel like this is going to be so stunning, but it is not very thick. So it's more of a, I would say like a sports jersey. It's a lycra spandex fabric. So it does have a ton of stretch and recovery, and it looks great when it stretches as well. None of that color goes anywhere, but it is more like, you know, sportswear, swimwear, that kind of fabric. It has some nice drape as a result of that, I will say. So that could work with the wide leg. I'm just not sure if it's gonna have enough structure to be able to look like it suits the style of this jumpsuit. I kind of want to make it work, and I feel like I could use some interfacing around the neckline if I needed to. Give me your thoughts, guys. Do you think this could work? Do you think this is a good candidate, or should I hold on to it for another garment? Please tell me which way you're leaning. The geometric, the floral, or the African print fabric, it's entirely possible I will make more than one of this jumpsuit if I like it. So it might not be just one, but I would love to hear your thoughts because I am so on the fence about what to make for this challenge. I really hope I have inspired you to have a go at making a jumpsuit for this challenge, whether you have made one before or not. I would love to hear down in the description box if you are thinking about making any of the jumpsuits that I've mentioned. If you've made any jumpsuits before that you absolutely love that I need to check out and I need to try, just make sure that I can get in and out of them, so no back zips, please. Otherwise, I want to hear all about your favorite jumpsuits. I am not the only person who's going to be sharing inspiration and encouraging you guys to take part in this challenge. V has put together a fantastic playlist of all kinds of awesome vloggers. Lots of my favorite vloggers are going to be sharing their inspo videos as well. I'll put a list of all the vloggers up here and put it down in the description box. But please do check out their channels when their videos come out and get a little bit more inspired. Thank you so much to V for organizing this challenge. I think we all need to celebrate National Jumpsuit Day. It is such a fun idea and I'm really looking forward to seeing all of the gorgeous jumpsuits and getting a long, long list of all the ones that I want to make in the future. Please do give me a like if you enjoyed today's video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel, and I'll see you all soon.